So what we are doing in this is further bifurcating the requirement of our e-commerce platform into the static and the dynamic pages and the catalogs we would have, including the product page and the cart and then checkout, right? So home and landing could be considered as one in this case, and we will have more pages, uh, catalog, or let's call it product catalog, and then we will have a product page, a cart, and checkout. So these are essential things which our platform is going to have. Okay. So the content for the home page we would require something needs to be put there, right? So we'll be using the placeholder text, but however, it would be nice if we can sort of generate some content very quickly, है ना? And use chat gpt basically to generate content fast so that at least our website looks good, you know. So let's open up a new chat and give it some context. Okay, so I'll speak into it. You guys can do on your own or take up your own projects for that matter. I am working on a WordPress plus WooCommerce website, and for the same, I need some content which can be used as a placeholder, but I don't want to go with lorem ipsum, but rather content which is contextual. So think of it as that I am generating, I'm developing a website for selling wooden toys, and the USP of the wooden toys is that it is 100% organic, uh, has no toxic chemicals in it, and is suitable for 3 to 7 year old kids. And yeah, that's it. What I'm trying to sell. So I need content for the home page. Uh, for various sections, and I need at least 5 products with their descriptions, and later based on the description you will generate the images also. Keep the consistency in the images generated. In fact, create a brief for yourself to be followed across this thread, and the primary objective is going to be to generate content to be used in a demonstration given to the students about how to use WordPress plus WooCommerce for quickly building up a e-commerce platform. Great. So I have some content now, right? Great. Wooden safari animal set, rainbow stacking arches, classic pull along duck, creative shape, sorting boxes, and mini builder toolkit. So these are my products. Okay, and the good part is it also gives me some uh, brand guidelines for visual consistency for generating all images later. So which it is going to utilize for generating the images, right? So I can generate hyper consistent image product. Okay, fine. We'll go through that. No issues. So let me ask it to generate the next first image. Generate images for all 5 products. Generate image 1, and by the time it generates it, Let's review the home page. So it is saying that there should be a hero section with a headline and subline plus call to actions. So headline is organic wooden toys for curious little hands. Then you have subheadline, and then you have primary CTA and you have secondary CTA. So we need to build this entire thing, right? Now there are many templates which we can use, but I would refrain from using templates since this is the learning part, and templates you can also use just by clicking and changing things. But our main purpose is to study, learn how to build this from scratch. So I'm going to go to my installation, and let me just delete this demo e-commerce first. I don't want this. I already have it. And I have clicked on this trust button here to enable the SSL in the local environment. Please do that. It's not mandatory, but do that anyway. Uh, just ensuring that SSL is checked. Rest all are fine. Do nothing with these. Simply click on open site first to have a look at what you have as a website. And I'm going to segregate all other pages so that we can hardly focus on. So this is what is there. If you just click on visit site, can you see this? It's visible. So the whole template is ready for us to use, and this is the default theme. Okay, this is the default theme which comes with WordPress installation, and this is uh, WordPress 2025 theme. Okay, we can learn more about it by going to the backend. Now to check the backend, you have to click on WP admin. Click on that. It will ask you to put your credentials to login. Do that, and post that you will be here. You will see something like this. Confirm if you can see this. After logging in, you can see this. वो पासवर्ड और आईडी यूज करो जो तुमने बनाया था. हो गया? यहाँ तक आ गए? देखो, तो यहाँ पे आ गए हो तो कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट करो अपने आप को. यू हैव अ बैक एंड एंड अ फ्रंट एंड. So the thing you saw earlier, this is the front end with which your users are going to interact, and this is the back end which is connected to the database and allows you to create your front end. ठीक है? And manage your content. Now, pay attention to the left hand side. Okay? And see there are many options. And if you see at the top, you have home, updates, posts, and pages. Remember post and pages? Yeah? We were talking about this while planning for our website. Pages and post. We don't yet have a catalog. We'll have to build that. But this is just WordPress. We haven't added the plugins required. So before I add the plugin WooCommerce, let's add Elementor and try to design the home page. That's objective number 2. We have content for the home page ready. If you want some time and use the prompt I have used, I can open that for you so that you have some content to work with. You can replace my wooden toy with something else. And by the time AI generates content for you, let's get the plugins installed. So go to the backend. Guys, content you can generate in a while, you have the prompt. So follow me here. Go to the plugin, and you will see no plugin. By default, this does not give you any plugin. So I'm gonna click on add plugin, and the first plugin I'm going to install is going to be Elementor. Elementor. Elementor is a page builder. By default, also in WordPress, you get a page builder, which is known as block editor, but that is not so good. Good in the sense that you don't get so many of options, and ease of usage is also not so good. So the very first option you see here, Elementor website builder, more than just a page builder, and it is indeed true that it is more than a page builder. So I'm just gonna click on install now. It will install the free version of the Elementor, which will suffice for our work. If we need to explore more layout options, we'll have to go for the paid version, or there are ways which I'll tell you, but not right now. We'll work with the free version for now. Okay? After installing, it will ask you to activate it. Click on that. And just close. When you go to this page, do not start setup or upgrade or create account. You just have to close. That's it. You shall see Elementor review in your dashboard. Collapse that. We will not require that for now. In fact, collapse all. Let's go to the plugin once again. And we need another plugin. Click on add plugin. And press WOO, woo, and wait for the results to pop up. So the very first option you see, WooCommerce, install that. Do not activate it. Wait for it. When I ask you to activate, then do that. Yeah, just leave it unactivated. And let's go to the installed plugin to check. Here on the left hand side, you should see Elementor and you should see WooCommerce. Okay, these two you should see. Okay, now we need to look at the themes. The default theme is not so helpful for developing WooCommerce. So we need to find out a theme which Elementor gives us. It's for free also. So we'll go to the appearance, themes, and I can see that there are 3 themes by default which is installed: 2023, 2024 and 2025. And the current one is active. I can see that. I don't require these two. So let's just click on that and delete. Click to see the theme details and delete the ones we don't want. And the last one, you cannot delete it, of course, because it's the only theme installed. So I'm gonna go click on the add theme button here at the top left, and we need to install this Hello Elementor, the very first option. If you can't see this, you have to go and then search themes.
We will go for Hello Elementor. This should be from Elementor. There are many Hello themes, but we'll be going for Hello Elementor and then say install. After installing, you will have to activate it. After it is activated, you can go to your front end and refresh the page. The theme should take effect. Yes, it has taken effect. I can see the whole layout changed. Can you see that? Yes? Okay. So our theme has been successfully applied. You can customize it also if you want. But I would prefer to build it using Elementor rather than going here and customizing it. So the next thing is there is this menu option which is showing up right now, Elementor. You hover on top of that, and first we will go to the settings. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. Go to the Elementor, go to the settings. Now here in the settings, there are these options in the general default, disable default colors, tick that, disable default fonts, tick that. These two should be checked, and you can say save changes. This is very crucial, otherwise your style elements which you are going to apply via Elementor may not take effect. So make sure, and you can read this also, don't just follow me. It says checking this box will disable Elementor's default colors and make Elementor inherit the colors from your theme, which is what we want. Checking this box will disable Elementor's default fonts and make Elementor inherit the fonts from your theme, which is fine. Okay. Now after the setting is done, one more setting we have to do. By default, WordPress shows post archive as the landing page. That means this hello world is actually a post, a sample post. If you click on that, it will take you to the sample post. Let me go back to the main website, and here we need, rather than the post archive, a static page which we can design, correct? And the same can be done by going to the settings at the back, at the bottom, not the Elementor settings, but the settings at the very bottom of the sidebar. Click on the setting, and then you will see some general settings. Just go through it once, okay? And there is a site title, there is an option for putting the tagline also, and we do have a tagline. In fact, we have a site title as well, right? I think it's not giving me the site title, but we do have a headline. So I'm gonna use the headline as the tagline. Or let's just leave it. We will do it once we are using Elementor. You can upload a site icon also, and then the setting which I want you to tweak up here and pay attention to, if you click on new default user role, these options you have: subscriber, contributor, author, editor, and administrator. Pay attention to this. Okay, just keep this in mind. Change nothing. Let it be the subscriber. And then you have time zone set as UTC 0. Are we in UTC 0? No. We are in UTC 5:30. So click on that. Select UTC 5:30. Choose entire city in the same time zone as you are. Do we have options to choose the city? Yes, we do have options to choose the city as well. Right? Can we write Gandhinagar? No. But this is Asia Pacific. Now setting up the time zone is very important for an e-commerce website, because it will also use that time zone to generate invoices. And one day here and there can impact your billing cycle, and in return the taxes which needs to be filled. So since this is a demo, I'll just straight away go to UTC plus 530 and then save changes. And then you also have an option of week starts on Monday. You can choose Monday, Sunday, whichever day you want. India follows week starts on Monday, so we'll keep it Monday. And then save changes. Now we'll have to go to the writing. Just check it once, nothing needs to be changed here. Then we will go to the reading section where we need to make some changes. And rather than using a home page, your home page display, your latest post, we would want to use a static page. Okay? A static page. Let me go back to the plan we were doing. Remember this? Static page, correct? So before we set that up, we have to build it also, right? So let's first check quickly, and I don't want to go back and then come back here. Since I'm working locally, or even if you are working online, you can simply right click on this and then make a duplicate. So you have two tabs. Now I can go back to the pages to check if there are pages available. And I see that there are 3 pages. One is the sample page, one is Hello Theme 7 Draft Elementor, and then we have privacy policy which came by default. I'm just gonna quickly check this one. I'm interested in this one. So I'm gonna control click on the preview to open it in a separate tab. And I see absolutely nothing is there, it's blank. So I'm going to just thrash these 2 pages, leave the privacy policy. We may later use it. Right now it's unpublished, right? Whenever you see draft written alongside any page's name, that means it is built but not yet published. Unless it is published, it cannot be part of the menu or be seen from the client side. Very well. Since we have deleted all the static pages, we shall create one for ourselves. So I'm going to click on add page, which will take us to the block editor, the default editor in WordPress. Just close this and we can define a title for the page. We will call it home page. Okay? Or simply let's call it home. And you can click on publish on the top right. That should change the status to publish. And now you can click on edit with Elementor here. First time you have to click on it. Next time you want to access the page directly, you can do that from the pages menu. So after clicking edit with Elementor, it takes you here. Just close this notification pop-up, and this is the area where you are going to spend a lot of time.
थोड़ा स्पीड अप हो गया लाइक पेजेस में वो 3 पेजेस थे ना
डिलीट कर दो सारे
डिलीट कर
प्राइवेसी वाला छोड़ के दोनों डिलीट कर दो. उस पर थ्रैश ऑप्शन आता है, वो कर दो. और फिर ऊपर देखो ऐड न्यू ऑप्शन होगा, ऐड न्यू. ऐड पेज कर दो. बाकी आप लोग कर लिया आपने, यहाँ तक पहुँच गए. यू कैन सी व्हाट इज शोइंग ऑन माई स्क्रीन. ऐड पेज करके ना सिर्फ पेज का नाम लिख दो होम. टॉप राइट कॉर्नर में पब्लिश ऑप्शन है, उसको पब्लिश कर दो. 2 बार करना पड़ेगा पब्लिश. और पब्लिश करने के बाद टॉप लेफ्ट में देखोगे ओपन विथ एलिमेंटोर, एडिट विथ एलिमेंटोर होगा बटन, उस पर क्लिक करो। आ गया? वो पॉपअप आएगा नोटिफिकेशन का, उसको क्लोज कर दो, देन यू विल सी एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई एम सीइंग ऑन द स्क्रीन। इज इट द केस? Okay, so let me just quickly show you the interface. Now see guys, we are building an e-commerce website, but you can use the same for creating your portfolios also, and managing the portfolio using WordPress is unlike nothing. Okay, so the challenge is actually to get to this level where you can drag drop things and then build your entire content. Okay, but since we have already completed that challenge successfully in very less time, let's pay attention to creating a home page. So one by one, I'm going to give you information about the layout and where to find what, while I also start building the page. आप बंद कर दो ना उसको. That is for the paid version. ठीक है? And the paid version will cost you, I think, $8-9 per month. So you can explore the paid version also. That's totally up to you. Now here on the left, when you see elements, first understand what are the elements. Anything which you see on the screen on client side can be referred as elements. Boxes, divs, text blocks, sliders, those are elements. So on the left hand side you have this widget panel which lists all the elements which are available to you, and you will notice that you have a layout, basic, and the pro features are locked, and it is asking you to upgrade for getting the pro feature. I'm just gonna collapse it and I'll tell you a way to get the pro features also, but for now we can definitely build things by using layouts, basic, and general category. Okay, and then we have a lot of WooCommerce tools also, right? But those are accessible only for pro. So we'll have to find out a way to get the pro version, at least for the demonstration session. So we'll do that, not an issue. Then we also have WordPress default options. Now these are the default WordPress widgets which can be used with Elementor as well, but not advisable because may break things unless you really know what you are doing with it. So this is my home page, and right now let me change the settings by going back to the dashboard, settings, readings, and I'll have to refresh it to reflect the changes I have done here. So refresh it once, and then instead of your latest post, right now if you go to the front end and refresh the page, you will see still it shows archives. I don't want to see archives on the landing page. I want to see my home page. So I'm gonna click on a static page here, and the home page can be selected from the drop down. Since I have just one single page which is published, home, I'm gonna select that. And for the post page, I don't want any post page, but if you want a blog post along with your e-commerce website, go ahead and do that. Not now. Post page we haven't created, so we'll not choose any. And then simply I'm gonna say save changes. And now if you go to the front end and refresh it, you should see home. In the back end, in the settings, in the reading settings, you have to change from your latest post to your static page. And under that, you have a home page drop down from where you need to select to home. If you are not able to see this, that means either you have not created it or you have not refreshed it. So if you refresh it, you should be able to see the home. Is it the case for you guys? हो गया? ऐसा दिख रहा है? सबको दिख रहा है ऐसा? आपको दिख रहा है? ये दिख रहा है? हाँ, आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रही है? हाँ, तो ये आपको यहाँ दिख रहा होगा ना, ये दिख रहा होगा आपको, आप रीडिंग में हैं, स्टैटिक पेज चूज किया है, हाँ, सो मैं इसीलिए पूछ रहा हूँ ना आपसे कि आर यू सेटिंग्स रीडिंग में है, आपने थीम चेंज किया था, थीम कहाँ चेंज किया आपने,
इसको कस्टमाइज में किया ना।
आपको थीम ऐड करना था ना यहाँ पे, हेलो, ये चेंज किया आपने, नहीं किया ना,
ये नहीं किया।
सो इफ यू डोंट फॉलो अलोंग देन यू विल मिस आउट ऑन थिंग्स। इसको एक्टिवेट कर लीजिए, ठीक है, when you come now go to the settings, reading, you shall have that option. Okay, ठीक है, it's fine, go. Guys, everybody can see this? Okay? आपने थीम इंस्टॉल किया था, हेलो, पेज क्रिएट किया था, आप हूँ तो कर रहे हो, लेकिन मैं 100% बता सकता हूँ आपने नहीं किया।
थीम तो किया,
पेज क्रिएट किया, कहाँ किया पेज क्रिएट आपने,
ऐड पेज किया,
किधर है,
ये करना।
क्या करना होगा, चीज़ों को समझना चाहिए ना। ऐड पेज करो, अपना नाम डालो पेज का, अगर पेज रहेगा ही नहीं तो कैसे वो बनाएगा, फिर पब्लिश करना भी जरूरी है उसको, फिर यहाँ पे आप एडिट विद एलिमेंट और करके, तो यू हैव नेवर गॉन टू दिस पेज ना,
गई थी बट इसमें वो होम नहीं आ रहा था बिकॉज आई डी नहीं किया था।
और 3 टैब खोल के रखने बोले थे ना आपको, ये सेटिंग्स भी चेंज नहीं करे आपने, UTC +5 बोला था करने के लिए, हाँ, इसको चेंज करो, ले जाओ। Shall we move ahead? Okay. Now the next thing is working with Elementor to build the page. We already see that these two things are visible on my home page. Also, this part is visible. That means we need to add content in this. Let me go back to the chat GPT and go through the content which we need to build. So first we require a hero section. So here if I try to find a hero section by typing in hero, we will not get anything because it is supposed to be built. So let's click on this plus sign, and you may be tempted by clicking on this build with AI and then connect and do all those things. Go ahead and do that. It will cost you money, or maybe free options are there, but probably will not make any sense because you need to learn how to build it manually yourself. You also have option of clicking on the folder to check out the block templates available, and you may be intrigued to utilize these also. That I'll just click and then things will work out on its own. So this is also for the pro version. You can see the pro is flagged at the top. Uh, and you have a lot of categories to choose from. So if you have the paid version, feel free to explore these as well. However, our agenda here is to create things from scratch. So we'll be clicking on the plus sign here. And then we have two options for setting up the layout, flexbox and grid. So container utilizes the flexbox method and grid is the grid method. I'm going to go with flexbox, and then I'm going to go downward flexbox. Directional column should be downward. And let's click on this. For now, I'm just going to close this structure box. We can get it back anytime. That's not a problem. So here I need to add up an image, right? But before that, let me set just a solid color so that you can visualize the structure. So I'm going to click on this whole section, and on the left hand side notice that it says edit container, and we have three tabs: layout, style and advanced. So layout decides the layout of it, but since there is no content in it, it's difficult for us to visualize what changes of the layout are happening. So I'm going to go to the style first, and then here assign it a random color. Any color is fine for now. So now it has a color, a background color. Now I can go to the layout, and I have the option of setting up the width. Right now it's across the page, and that is what I require. It is a flex box, and the container has a background in it. It's boxed, and the minimum height is set to 0, which I'll increase. I also have option of choosing other measurement conventions. I'm simply going to go and then expand it around 600 pixels. You also have an option of dynamically setting up it. That means I can go for vertical height and then I can change it to 100%. So this means it's going to acquire the vertical height of the page, whatever is the height of the page in whichever device you are working with, it will stay true to that. But I'm going to go back to the pixels and then change it to 600. Then we have option for setting up the direction. Direction already we have picked downwards direction, and these are the alignment things which we will work with after putting content inside it. For now, let's publish and then go back to the front end, refresh the page, and you should see that blue box appearing, right? So kind of a hero image we have. We can replace the background with any image of our choice or keep it solid as well or keep it gradient. Let's try doing gradient. So let's go to the style, and in the background type you have 4 options to choose from. I'm gonna go for gradient. It's a horrible color choice, but let's wooden, right? So something in the brown. So you click on this icon and it allows you to pick the color. So I'm gonna go for uh, something brownish. Yeah, and change this red also to maybe a little darker. I don't know. And you have choice of setting up the angle of the gradient also. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, this looks fine to me. You can also put videos inside, and you can also have slideshow in the background. So full scope for experimentation. Let me just quickly publish this. If you are not sure about the things you have made and quickly want to check this, you can click on the preview button, which will show you a preview of it without publishing. So that can also be done, or simply you can click on this icon to collapse it and then also check how it looks. All right, since I have published it, refreshing it is going to give me that change on the home page. For inserting more content into it, you can click on the plus sign, which takes you back to the add elements sidebar. If you want to see more here, just click and drag it to get more options available to you faster. Now, I need a headline organic wooden toys for curious little hands. So I'm gonna say Control C, and I am also curious to see. Okay, we'll see the product later on. Now I need a heading, so I can just drag this heading and drop it here. And if the heading is selected, you should see edit heading here, and you can simply paste the text copied there. Okay, and you can decide the HTML tag, whether it's going to be H1, H2, and so on. I want it the biggest size, so I have selected H1, and further I have option to style it. By going to the style, I can click on the typography, choose a different font. Let's go with Helvetica. I can increase the size, decrease the size, whatever I want to do, I can do with this. I can change the weight of it. Let me go for a thicker font, and I can play around with line height, letter spacing. All those options are there for me to explore. For the color, I have option to change it here. So I'm going to go for a lighter color so that it's visible there. Now, if you want to break it into two paragraphs, two lines, you have two choices. Either you can just come here and manually drag it, or you could go to the advanced. I prefer to do everything from menu parametrically. So you go to the advanced, and there you have option of width, which is set by default. You change this to custom, and then you have this slider to drag, which can get you multi-line text. Okay, so I'm gonna go for 75%. I want it in the center of the block, the vertical center of the block. So I'm going to go back to the setting of the block by clicking here. Now I'm back to edit container, and I'll go to the layout, and remember those alignment settings here, the justify content. So the second option is going to justify the content to the center of the block. Now I notice that there should be some gap between two lines. So any element, if you wish to edit, you just have to highlight that and click on the edit mark. That will take you to the edit settings, style, typography, and here we have line height. I can simply drag it to increase the leading. Let's publish this quickly and see if it changes here in my home page. Yes, we have that text. Great. आप लोगों को भी करना है शायद. अच्छा. Okay, guys. Now hereafter, कर लो. So this home here, it's not making much of a sense, right? I don't want this, and if I go here, I have no option of editing it. So how do I remove this? The answer is very simple. You have to go to the settings, site settings, page settings. Click on this page settings here, and at the bottom, if you scroll, you will find an option of hiding the title. So hide the title. Okay, and then you publish, go back, refresh, that's gone. Great, we have a hero. Let's go back to quickly our chat GPT, and I see there is a sub headline. I'm gonna copy this and then add another element, and this time I'm not gonna go for heading but rather text editor. We will click it, drag it, leave it below this, select the text, paste my content, go to the advanced, go to the width, custom, change it to 75 or maybe smaller than that. Let's go for 50, makes more sense. Go to the style, change the color of it, and we'll change it to white and probably increase the size a little bit, even though I like it the way it is. You can change the font family. I think I'll go with 16 and I'll go with Helvetica as standard throughout the website and publish it. Let's refresh. Now, every time I make some changes, I go back and check, right? Now, after a while, you will get confident enough that the thing happened. You will stop getting into this loop and you will simply do this. Okay? Which is fine. Now I'm gonna go back to my content, and I see there is a primary CTA called shop wooden toys. That means I need a button, right? So let's click on this add elements and look for buttons. Oh, I see a button there, right? Now I'm gonna drag this and drop it below it. Okay, and there I have an option of changing the text. I'm gonna change it to shop wooden toys, and you can customize this button. There are some types available by default: success, warning, danger, info, and the default. You have further customization options in this style where you can totally control the way it looks. However, I'm gonna simply go back to the content and choose danger because this matches with my color theme, and quickly see it looks nice. Okay, great. You also have option of changing the size of it. In the styles you can go and you can increase, decrease, add a border if you want, do whatever with it. So let's say I want the border radius to be more. I can simply come here and then type in 10 or 5 or whatever, and then it rounds it up. So you have full control over the layout you are building. Full control. I'll just keep it 5. You can have a solid border around it. You can control the thickness of the border by putting the numbers here. I'm gonna simply remove this because I don't want the border around it. So I'm gonna go for default, which is none. The padding value adds space around the button. So I can go for, let's say, 10, which cuts down the default. So I'm gonna go for 30. I can control the top and bottom separately by breaking the connection and probably go for 10 here and 10 here, or maybe 20 here and 20 here to make the button slightly bigger. Okay. Now let's publish it. Quickly go back to the home page, refresh it, and there we have our hero section ready. You could replace the solid background with an image and make sure that the image is strategically placed on the right hand side so that the text can be visible, and you have a call to action already. But right now this call to action is not changing color, or that's interactivity is not there. So I'm gonna go back to the home page, go to the style, and see there are two states here. One is normal, another is hover. Let's go to the hover, and then we have hover animations. Let's first look at this. You simply change it to a different preset, hover, and you will see the button is start interacting. And there are many options. You have pop, you have bounce in fact some really crazy options you have. Now this looks fine though. So you can try out these interactions. I'm just going to go for no interaction. In the hover state, you have option of changing the text color, changing the background type, and changing the color of the button. So let me just change the color of it on the hover state. Yeah, okay. Let me change it to a darker color. I just want to first pick this color. Okay. It's okay. I just want to pick a darker color, or I think a lighter color would make more sense. Right? I'm very close to it now. This is fine. This is fine. This is good. Okay. Some drop shadow can also be added on the button. No, ultimate level of control you have over customization. If you want to add some drop shadow, you have box shadows and you can play around with it. See, you wouldn't want this to happen. So let me just set it back to the 0 and rather do a slight vertical offset, very little, and blur it out a little more. Yes, now it has that. Yeah, and then we can click on this and make it more transparent to have a very softer effect. Okay, I'm just stressing upon it to show you that there are many styling options available. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, now let me go back to the content. The secondary CTA says explore our story. Let me copy the text, and it would be a little difficult to put a secondary CTA in line with the existing button. Let's try doing that. Okay, so if I right click on it and then choose duplicate, it creates another button here, which is not what I want, right? I would want this button to be here. That's a little challenging. How do I do that? Let me try by reducing this width by going to the advanced and choosing custom and then setting up and making it smaller. Then selecting this, going to the advanced and then choosing custom and reducing it. But still it is not going side by side, right? I saw another option. Let me click the top button and here it says custom and here it says inline auto. I don't know what it is. Let's try that. Now it says inline auto, but it is again expanding this. So this is also not going to work. If I choose align self and choose start with inline auto, something seems like kuch to ho raha hai. Let me do the same for this as well. Inline auto and align self start. But still it is not going in the same row. Right? How do I do that? This way it will not be possible. And that is precisely why we need to structure the whole thing before we start putting content in it. Okay? So let's try that. We will rebuild the hero again, but since most of the content is already there, we will not have much issues. So we'll start with a flex box, but this time rather than relying upon the advanced tab for setting up the dimensions here, I'm gonna go for this split. So we have two splits, right? Now inside that, I want to insert more. So I'm gonna drag one container and right click on that and make a duplicate of that. That gives me another container. and this container will have a grid item, and I can change the grid's number to 2 columns by dragging it and making it 2 and 1 row. Do you think we have a good structure now? Right? The good part that I can select this and make it 70% rather than 50%, and this part 30%. Right? So we have a good structure now to work with. Well, so since we have a good structure, let me just copy content from here, right click and paste. Copy from here, right click and paste. I think we copied the wrong thing. Yeah? Paste. Okay? And this is still pushing it because it's following the container and the advanced rule. ठीक है? सो एक काम करते हैं, सबसे पहले ये जो पीछे का कलर है ना, मैं इस पर राइट क्लिक करता हूँ, कॉपी करता हूँ इसको, एंड देन राइट क्लिक एंड पेस्ट स्टाइल. मजा आया? इजी था. अब ये जो था, I'll have to go to the advance and reset it. We don't want this, right? So हमें कस्टम चाहिए नहीं, हमें डिफॉल्ट चाहिए. ठीक हो गया? यहाँ पे भी हमें एडवांस में कस्टम नहीं चाहिए, वी नीड डिफॉल्ट. फिट हो गया बिल्कुल. अच्छा, अब यहाँ पे कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है, ये पता नहीं कहाँ से आ गया. ठीक है, इसको हम देखते हैं, ठीक करेंगे अभी. बट मेरा ये वाला जो बटन है, इसको मैं कॉपी करता हूँ और यहाँ पे पेस्ट कर देता हूँ. हो गया? अब ये कॉपी करके यहाँ पे पेस्ट कर देता हूँ. साइड बाय साइड आ गया. अब ये एडजस्टमेंट जो है, बस यही बचता है हमारे पास. ठीक है? सो लेट्स क्लिक ऑन दिस, गो टू द एडवांस, and it says inline auto, change it to default, and then we can probably reduce the size of it, or if the size is not getting reduced, what we can do is we can duplicate this. Oh wait, width is 100%, we need to reduce it to match it, and then it's sorted. Now this distance in between is coming because of the padding. Let me just first get rid of this and let's review these two layouts. I'll add a little bit of top margin to it. Let's add 50 pixels, publish it, and then check by refreshing it. Okay, it got duplicated there, na? Delete करने दो, publish करने दो और refresh. So we wanted this side by side, we have it side by side, right? And this is a better way of using. But here you notice there is a little, alignment issue. Here things are aligned very nicely. Here I think there are some alignment issues, right? Also this gap is not consistent between these two, correct? So let's address to those things. So here the structure is that we have a container inside which we have another container and this one. So these two containers are there inside this parent container. The things will be more clearer if I open the structure panel. And here you can see this is my top container which contains everything, right? This whole block. If you expand, you will have another container which contains things inside it. If you expand that, you can click on the containers to actually activate it and then check the contents inside it. Okay, so at this level, let me collapse this. We have two containers, this one and this one. Now if I click on this one, this container has very less padding, this amount of padding, and then we have here some padding, and this padding plus this padding and the containers padding. So here we have three levels of containers. So the padding got tripled. I am fine with this much of padding, right? But I don't want to have the third layer of padding. So what do we do? Very simple. We click on this, go to the advanced, and simply once click on this. That's it. What it does, it resets the default padding which gets added, and then sets the padding 0000. Now if I publish, you will find here also we have then you will find everything is aligned properly and looks as good as the first option. Okay, any problem? Clear? Perfect. The good part is that this is also responsive by default. If you switch the layout to mobile, you will see to save space, this will automatically acquire 2 rows, and here you will see the layout is not looking so nice, but here it's perfect for mobile. Only because we have structured it very carefully. Okay, not just randomly put the content, but structure it. So it will work for tablets also, mobile also, and your desktop also at one go. Understood? So we do not require this one. So I can simply just delete the container, publish, and we have the hero section ready. What do you think so far about the process involved, the complexity, and the kind of freedom we get to build things? And this is indeed actual website you are making. It can be published right away. So you can think of creating your portfolio in the same way as well. Okay? Got it? Fine. Let's move to the next part. The section why choose our wooden toys. Okay? And I have some text. And I don't want to just give the text, it's simply just putting it there, but rather probably use some typography or something like that. Then I have some icons plus points. So these could be icon boxes which talks about the product and all those things. So let's try building this section. Let me just copy the title of it, and we will add another section below this. And this time I'll go with the flex box, but before I start doing things, let me get back and look at the structure of it. I have a title. That means these three can acquire the same row. Same row as in same column, one column, 3 rows. Then I have these 5 things. So I would probably arrange it in grids, right? So I can go with this one, but I need 2 columns. So let me start with this, but this does not give me access to duplicating it. I can't duplicate this row, so not a good idea. What else do we have here? This looks fine, but it is exactly in the opposite way. I don't want this. What if we go with this one? Or this one? I see 3 here. I can add a row of 3 more to have those icon boxes placed in that. Let me start with this. I'm gonna delete this also. select this and make it 100%. That means I can customize things the way I want, right? And that's a good thing. I can also add grid here in the bottom container and make it 2 rows and 3 columns. That is fine. But the challenge with grid is that things needs to be aligned in a different way. We'll look at the alignment later. Don't worry about that. For now, I'm trying to keep it as simple as it can be. You guys have not learned web development or have not coded anything yet, so it's difficult for you to understand the concept of grids and flex boxes, divs. So I'm trying to keep it very, very simple. Now, first we will add content here. I already have copied this, so I'm gonna drag and put the heading here. Then I have a text editor which will go below that. Copy the content. And probably I think this should also be a heading. So let me just put another heading below this, and I'll change this to H4. And copy this, paste it here. Then I have content, copy this, paste it here. Now let's work with the layout a little bit. First thing first, I want it slightly thicker than it is. So I'm gonna increase the minimum height about, let's say, 700. And the content I want not side by side but downwards, and in the center, and probably a background color. Something which goes in with the theme. The alignments and all can be sorted out, not a problem. So I can select this container and use these to align items like this. Here, go to the style and align it like this. I can also compact it using the custom width. And go for this. I think this came out independent from this container. So I just need to push it inside the container to make it obey the rule the container is following. Now it's difficult for me to do it interactively here. So either I can push it in bit. Yeah, it worked. If you are having too much of trouble, simply open up the structure and drag it. Okay. I want to increase the span to about 75%. Looks nice. Let me just quickly see. Great. And I noticed that the typography also needs to be changed. So I'll go to the style and choose Helvetica. That's the font we are following. Now, every time do I need to change the fonts? That's the question people would ask. No, we can create the entire design system in this beforehand only. I have not shown it to you because it would complicate things and you might lose interest in the process. Because Nobody loves complications nowadays. So actually you can go to the site settings, here, and then go to the theme builder. Let's not complicate things. पहले इतना करो, बाद में सिखाऊंगा, अभी ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेट हो जाएगा. सो मैं ऐड एलिमेंट में वापस जाता हूँ. मुझे वो आइकन्स भी तो ऐड करने हैं यहाँ पे, है ना. सो फॉर आइकन्स ना, आई हैव इन द general category, I have image boxes and icon boxes. So I can use icon boxes for that. Now icons will only allow you to upload the SVG icons. Correct? So let's go back to the chat GPT, and I don't know whether these icons are available as SVG or not. So for now, for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to randomly pick icons and place there. You can definitely look for SVG icons. There are many libraries, free libraries. Download it from there and use it. So I'll just use some random icon. I don't know. I'll just use this. Insert. Okay? And we'll change the content. 100% organic wood. And avoid changing content directly into the interface. It allows you to do that, but sometimes you may end up getting artifacts. Don't do that. If you're using a preset, use that properly. Now I notice that this content is not much. I would want maybe a couple of lines, maybe at least 2-3 lines. Okay. So I can simply copy this content, paste it, expand the definitions. Make it 2 lines. अच्छा, वुडन टाई बन गया मेरा. So now I have decent amount of content, looks nice. Now after doing this, I can simply right click on it and then make a duplicate. So I'll continue to do so till the time I get the number required, which in this case is 5. 0 toxic chemicals. I'll just select this and continue to change things. Copy. हेलो, हाँ बोलिए. हाँ ठीक है, मैं क्लास में था, देखता हूँ. ठीक है, मैं देख लेता हूँ. So I have replaced the content, and then I noticed that this one is coming in 2 lines and sort of breaking the layout. Once you have the limitations of the layout, you should respect that, and then try to also sort of work with the content. For example, if I just remove the word eco, this works, and I'm okay with this. It's fine. Let me click on published and refresh this to see. Looks nice. Maybe the icons could be changed and some extra space could be added around it. So let's try doing that. First is I want space at the top. Like here I want some margin, and bottom also I want some margin. So let me select the container, go to the advanced, and here I would want to add some padding at the top, about 100, and about 100 at the bottom as well to give it more space. Looks fine. Now, as per the text hierarchy, this is overpowering this one, which should not happen. So either I'm going to adjust this, which I can do by going to the style and going to the content, and then focus on the title and the typography and the size. So I'm going to go with 22. This is fine. I need to change the font as well to Helvetica. Then for the description, I simply have to change it to Helvetica. Now, I think this could be bold. So I'll change it to a different weight. This looks fine to me. Do I need to do this for all of it? I also want to change the color of this. So let's go with something like this. And I also want to change all of it. So the amazing part is you can simply copy, right click and paste style. Saves a lot of time. And looks nice. We can change the typography here as well, and we will change it from H2 to H3, H1, and then further if need be go ahead and then change the weight of it to 600. Looks fine. I don't know if this looks fine to you guys. I still think something can be done, but then again, those aesthetic and design decisions can be taken later. Right now, the structure is more important. Maybe we put these into some boxes or something like that, or maybe 5 is too much, right? So let me just get rid of these two. We will use that later if need be. So for this I want just one single row, and for this I need an outline around it. So I don't see any option here. Let me go to the content and then check. No options here as well. What do we do? Let's go to the advanced, and there we have an option of border. Let me see if I can have a solid border around it. Yes, we can have a solid border, and I can define the thickness of the border and choose the radius as well. I can add some padding. Let's start with 10 pixels, and this makes more sense to me. Maybe the color of the border can be changed. We can do that as well, and here we have that option. Yes. Now all we have to do is right click on this, copy again, right click, paste style, right click, paste style, publish. Looks wonderful, makes more sense, right? So slowly and slowly our site is coming to life. So the first page should be treated as a page where we just pass on the information to the user about what do we do, what are we selling, right? And add some of the products as well. But those products I want to dynamically fetch from the catalog and then display. That part we will continue to do after we build up the entire page, the static content. So these products, these details are gonna go for the products page, right? So the second part of the website would be to build up these sections. Our story, section bestsellers. Now here it says product listed below WooCommerce featured items. So this section, bestsellers, need to be dynamically pulled from the WooCommerce. That we will do it tomorrow. Section review, we can do that. These are placeholders. Then we have newsletter sign up. We also need to create a menu bar at the top, which takes me to the catalog and so on. We also need to create a profile for somebody who is going to buy items. Then we can add a feature of storing the address, allow them to store multiple addresses. Gets more complicated as we progress, but for today's class, this should be the takeaway. You should be able to build this entire homepage with static content in WordPress. All right, that's all from my side for the day. I hope by today day end, all of you have this thing set up properly on your laptops and the static page is ready. The home page should be ready. Okay? If you can do it in next 1 hour, the second half I am going to show you how to work with the menus and how to use Elementor's Pro version also. But only one contingency is there, that you finish this much in next 1 hour. 1 hour is sufficient amount of time. All right? Thank you.